Before we get into today's episode of Daily Brightness, we just want to say a huge thank you to Shaw for helping bring our podcast to life.
Obviously, this is something that we've wanted to do for a while. Teaming up with Goalhanger was an absolute no-brainer for us. But I think it's more just probably to get our points out there.
I think like before, Rach, it's about bringing Daily Brightness to life. And I think when we first invented it, if you like, it was all about communicating with each other, having that safe space to kind of be a little bit vulnerable and just showing our raw, authentic selves. And I think for us, the podcast is that. And that's why I think we're extremely grateful for Shaw to give us that opportunity and kind of bringing it to life and allowing us to now, you know, have it on a wider spectrum and connecting with the fans again. But also some of the things in the women's game that really need to be better and the problems and boundaries that we still face. And I think as players, current players as well, we can really touch on that and, you know, hopefully bring a little bit of attention. But ultimately it's just about sharing who we are as people. And yeah, like I said, we're really, really grateful that Shaw have given us this opportunity and supported us since day one.
Obviously, it's been amazing that Shaw have backed us from the start and all the way through this now. But exciting to have them be alongside us for this exciting summer of football. And they'll be with us every step of the way. So we're grateful for them to be alongside us sharing this journey as well. So thanks again to Shaw and thank you all for tuning in.
Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football Daily Brightness. I'm Millie Bright.
And I'm Rachel Daly. And this is our brand new show discussing all the big headlines and topics in the world of football.
Also giving you an insight into our professional lives as footballers and our friendship. This is our new adventure into the podcasting world. However, for those that don't know, or maybe you did know, before Daily Brightness Rach was something for us where we checked in, all about mental health, having that support system. So on each episode, we're going to have a little check-in. So how are you? How's life? What have you been up to?
Good, living the dream, just, you know, surviving.
Holidays?
Maybe thriving. Going on a holiday, you know, in my spare time. But no, good, ready to get rolling with this now. And obviously it's been a long time coming for me and you. And like you said, Daily Brightness was formed in 2019. So we've come a long way onto new, big and better adventures. How are you?
Very well, very busy. Game every 3 days. It's exciting. I love receiving my pictures of you on holiday, relaxing. But yeah, I think everything's really good in life. Hectic, but calm in the chaos, some would say.
Love that. Let's maybe go back to like how we first met, because I feel like it's one of them things that people just assume it's like a normal story, or maybe they just want to know a bit more about how we first met. But
I think everyone's initial thing is they think we grew up together because of how close we are and
Yorkshire accent.
Yeah, from the same part of the country, crazy, very similar as people, literally get on like a house on fire, and everyone just assumes that we grew up together and we really didn't. Football is what brought us together, isn't it?
It is.
And yeah, we started our England career together. I actually used to play for Lincoln and I played for Donny, and you was the loudmouth at the back, number 3.
Doesn't sound like me.
Not at all.
I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
You were always the loudest player on the pitch, always. And I was like, God, you always stood out for that reason. I was like, that always made me giggle. So yeah, we actually bizarrely played against each other without actually being friends. And then England was where, the friendship really started. And
yeah, I don't really know like how like the official moment of when we became friends. And I always go back to when we trained in Spain, I think at Real Madrid's training ground or something like that.
Got the picture to that.
Yeah, in that red jacket.
I had the raincoat on. Do you have the raincoat on?
Yeah, and I I looked at that not long ago and I was thinking I think that was the camp where I was just like, I heard you say something and I was laughing and then you laughed at me and then it was just like, want to be mates? Want to be my roommate every camp? Literally. And I think we just hit it off from there, didn't we? And then I think everyone was probably just very annoyed by us for the foreseeable.
Yeah, and if we had a quiet day, everyone was like, have you fell out?
Yeah.
No, just batteries are a little bit low, but we're recharging and we'll be back soon, don't worry.
We did fall out one time.
For 15 minutes. Well, yeah, we just didn't speak for 15 minutes, then we were like, we're bored now. Are we done?
Miss you.
Are we done? Miss you. Come back, please. But yeah, I think just the beauty of football and how it brings people together, and yeah, now life without you is not a possibility, and you literally know.
Don't be silly.
Don't be silly. You know everything about me inside and out, and yeah, I couldn't go through life without you, so you're the first person I turn to in crisis, but also the person I want to share all my good news with. So
I think that's the beauty of it. Like football has always been our constant. Like, it's always brought us together. But the majority of our conversations are not about football. No. And I think that's probably, I remember specifically in that hotel at Wembley when we decided to come up with Daily Brightness.
Yeah.
And I remember going to get all the stationery. Still
Spent
do that.
about 50
I still do
quid.
that. I've actually bought you a notebook with me. I bought you one, and it's a little notebook and it says Bright Ideas on it.
Aww.
So, love stationery. But we'd got all the gear, no idea, haven't we? It's like, we're just going to start this,
don't knock ourselves.
Going to start this whole, business venture, but
Literally.
not really a business, but more just, it was so important to us to, actually just connect with each other and the fans and, other people around us. And, like you said at the start, just checking in and things like that. And I think that's kind of probably what's kept us so close. Because if you just talk about football all the time, I wouldn't be speaking to you. I'd be bore off.
Not actually a football fan. You know that.
Yeah, that's weird, but...
No, it's not.
It's very... But anyway. We don't... But I like that because I think that, as much as, football was the thing that brought us together, it isn't what holds us together.
No.
I am.
Are you you're the reason?
No, I'm joking.
So what am I?
I'm like the glue and you're like the blue tack.
All right.
But I think, like I said about football, it's just one of them things that, we're so blessed to have had the life that we've had with football and the fact that it brought us together, but there's so much more to us. And that's why I think this podcast is going to be amazing for us to we'll talk about football, but there's also so much more to us as people, the ups and the downs. You've been there at my lowest points in my life, which I'm obviously eternally grateful for. But I think just being able to share some of those things has been important for both of us.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the important thing for anyone listening. Before kind of the podcast, it was about always giving back and just being there for people that needed someone to talk to, really. The messages that we used to get, and people used to say how much it meant that we just sat and read their message and just heard them, really. And being heard is massively important in this world, and I think society is really difficult at times to exist and to be the person that you want to be. So I always feel like people related to Daily Brightness as a safe space, which was really a proud moment for us. And we want that to be continued on the podcast. We want to talk about all our experiences, and actually that football is not all sunshine and roses, and there's been some really dark times for both of us. And without our friendship, we probably wouldn't be sat here today, to be honest. So I think that's the highlight for me. But we can't wait to share everything with you. We've got lots to talk about. Should we finish with a little funny story? I've got mine.
I bet it's a smoothie story, isn't it?
Oh, I've got two then.
Go on then.
My first one was when we were late for a meeting. Actually, we were rushing. We didn't realise what time it was. And this was when we used to share rooms. And you'd be my only roommate. Everyone knows that. You're the only person I'm sharing a room with. And I was actually having a wee, and you were quickly getting a shower. And I was like, have you got YOLO on your bum cheek?
How are you going to out me like this on the first episode?
I'm giving the fans what they want. Rachel has a YOLO tattoo on her right bum cheek.
Left.
And I was like, is it left bum cheek? I was like, is that YOLO on your bum cheek? I was like, quick anyway, we're late for the meeting. But and then just moments like that, I'm like,
it is little moments like that. I just forgot about that.
Yeah, I have not forgot about that.
Got a bit of red now.
We'll share a picture, don't worry, everybody.
I always think about stuff like that, it's the little hidden moments that no one would ever know. And how many times we've come out of our room just absolutely creasing, and people just what is wrong with them?
Yeah, but then we share the story and they go,
do you remember in Qatar when we had to share a bath?
If you've not shared a bath with your bestie, you're not really a bestie.
What happened? It was we were going out.
I'm not sure.
We were going out for the evening.
I think we were rushing again.
Yeah, but I think we were late from training. We're going out for the evening. Bearing in mind, it's 40 degrees and it's red hot and the humidity. So we had to hurry up getting showered, changed.
Yeah.
You know what our hair goes like when in that kind of weather. And I think something was wrong with the shower.
We basically had
I got in the bath, and then you were like, I need to go in the bath because I need to get ready. My hair takes longer than you. And then all of a sudden, in walks you. It's just completely naked and just got in the bath, and I was like, right then. So we're clearly best friends from here on out. And we had a bath, and we were probably one of the first ones ready, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
And then I think that's become...
It were funny.
That's
our therapy time, though.
I know. We were just sat there. I remember just sitting there looking at you in the bath thinking, what are we doing? How have we got here? Oh, yeah, so that's my funny story.
It is moments like that, though, because I can literally be like my authentic self, like completely. And
Yeah,
you
no
find me
judgment.
hilarious. Yeah, zero judgment. It's so important. So important.
Right, we could talk about funny stories about me and you all day, so we'll save them for the future. But let's turn our attention to some of the recent football. Better start with a certain someone beating Liverpool to go through to the final. Another final. How was that game? You went 1-0 down.
Yeah, it was intense, you know. I think you will appreciate this. The first game back off international is the hardest game. Like, you're all coming back in different, like, from different places, different travel, different games, different styles of play. So getting your club hat back on is like, and getting on the same page is really difficult. But to be honest, they were really tough to play against, and I think we actually had a good game. We conceded they scored a really good goal, but it was a brilliant ball through, and obviously everyone knows that Olivia Smith is doing really well, and she's quick and clinical, and she's a real bright young talent coming through. So we just got caught on, but that really was the only time I think that they had in the first half. Managed to pull one back just before half time. Again, creating loads of opportunities, but just not as ruthless in that final third that we want to be, but us having that grit and determination and that Chelsea mentality really to, you know what those games are like, you just do anything to win, and whether it's scrappy, scruffy football, like, you just need to win. But I do think we actually dominated the game, and yeah, we had all the ball and lots of opportunities. We just weren't ruthless enough.
I'm not going to lie, I only watched the first 20 minutes because we had a friendly.
That's
So I
fine.
had to leave and watch.
You're also a professional athlete.
But
I understand.
the first thing I said when I came off the pitch was, "What was the Chelsea score?" And then I heard it was 2-1, like late as well.
Yeah,
Aggie scored
94th minute. Yeah,
so
crazy.
But it's one of them where I just always refer to Chelsea as just having this like elite winning mentality. Like, you always find a way to get it done. There's never a doubt in my mind you're not going to win, or even if you go 1-0 down, like, you're going to pull it back. Because you just have that like winning mentality that you're just always going to pull through. So I just thought 1-0 down, whatever, like, they'll still win, it's fine. So I didn't even feel the need to check, but I did ask straight away when we finished. But what was that like winning? It's so sweet winning late as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and literally just before Aggie had scored, so she scored in the 94th minute. Before that, she had 3 opportunities, and I could see the frustration like building in her.
Called her out.
You know, she came up to me after, she was like, about time. She's like, 4th time lucky. So it was funny, like, but I think she's another bright young talent, and, you know, she puts a lot of pressure on herself, and she always wants to like deliver for the team, and I think she's got a great attitude, great mentality. But I think, like you said, there's always that belief that we would score. It was just at what moment and who's going to stick it in the back of the net. And yeah, she stepped up yet again and delivered. But it was funny because she did have 3 massive opportunities before that, and I could see like she was bubbling and bubbling.
But I think that's what's also good about being on a team like Chelsea. It's like most teams just create like 1 or 2, 3 or 4 big chances a game, and you've got to convert them to get anywhere near you guys. But I feel like you always just create and create and create, and like you just get that feeling that it's going to come. So even her having 3 late on, at least she got the 4th one that mattered. But like you say, a bright young talent, she's going to be great. And I think what a better club to be at.
Glad I didn't go extra time though.
I don't think you'd have survived, to be honest. Well, you wouldn't be here today, would you?
I would be here today. I'll power through. But
so what's your thoughts? Obviously, Man United. I suppose at least it's better than playing City for the 94th time this season.
A fan asked me after the game, they're like, who would you prefer? And I was like, United. I can't play City again. 4 in a row was enough for me.
That was a madness, honestly. Watching those 4 games, I just don't know how you all did it.
It was crazy. It was honestly the wildest thing that I've ever experienced in football. And no, I don't think any team has ever have to play them 4 times in a row. It was honestly wild. But weirdly, each game was so different. Yeah, we had the terrible pitch for the cup final, which I don't think is acceptable. But I think a lot of players and managers made enough noise about it for hopefully it not to happen again. So we had that, and then we had away, and then home. So I'm delighted that it's United at Wembley in the final. Yeah, can't wait, buzzing. Get back to it.
Exciting, another final for you to be in.
Anyway, less attention on me, more attention on you. You know I don't like the spotlight. Massive result last time for you out against Liverpool.
Yeah, you know what? Massively needed 3 points. Obviously, I think we spoke not long before that, didn't we? And I was a bit worried about where we were in the state of the league. We were only 1 point above Palace at that point. So going into that game, I think it was the first time it felt a little bit different. I felt like the buzz around it was a bit more like relaxed rather than it's a cup final in our minds, like we need to win all these games. And it's almost like you looked at it in a way that, okay, we might not win every game from here on out, but we don't need to. We just need to get more points than Palace.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the mentality shift was kind of like, just felt a bit calmer. The noise around the game just felt a lot more less tense.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the first games where I felt like, even when we went 1-0 down, I was like, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. And I haven't had that feeling in a long time. And I think loads of the girls sort of said that as well. But did you see the goal, how we went 1-0 down?
No.
It was like the story of the season. Like, I literally saw it happen and I was like, it was so unlucky. Like, one of our players had, like, kicked it off another player.
Yeah.
Like, mishit it came off another player and then just went away and then, like, on one-on-one and then got brought down in the box. But I'm just like, this is like the epitome. Like, we've not really conceded many chances in this game, but that's how you've scored. Like, that's how you've got a penalty. But I was just, again, it was one of them where I was just like, it's fine, we're fine.
Yeah.
Which, again, like I say, I haven't felt like that in a long time. So
that's a massive boost, though.
yeah. So,
Like,
I mean,
really,
obviously,
really
like,
big
Kirsty
boost.
Jansen came on and
Yeah.
just, I mean, the angle of her goal was outrageous. I don't even know how it went in. Like, it was a worldie.
Yeah. I did see the celebrations, though.
Took it round the keeper and then the maddest angle, but it's really good for her to come on and get that goal. And then Ebony Salmon, loads of little tricks and,
Yeah.
you know, she's like pace
Rapid,
for days.
yeah.
So created something out of nothing, really, and, like, put it across the face of goal and went in as an own goal. But I think...
It's in the back of the net, so
yeah, exactly. So I think, and then, like, that along with being able to see the win out, you know, like holding the ball in the corner, like, it's like that kind of stuff that we've not been able to do for so long because ultimately we haven't been in the position to be, like, wasting time at the end of a game and stuff. So one, it was massive for the 3 points, but two, the state of going into the international break, like everyone's going away happy in their camps, like the people who don't go away, me, get to just go back and enjoy
Sending me
a bit of
pictures
time
on holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
While I'm literally slogging away.
Well,
Every body part hanging on for dear life.
I've been there.
We'll stitch it back up, don't worry.
Yeah, just put a plaster on it, it'll be all right.
But you have got Lucy Stanback.
Yeah.
Obviously a massive player for you guys. Lots of experience. Been out a little while with injury. That's surely got to be a big boost.
I think that was a massive boost for us. It's been obviously frustrating to not have her around every day, even in training. And obviously she's there every day, but I mean, like, in and around the group at training and being on the pitch. So to have her back was massive. Like, you could just tell, like, she's a big character.
Yeah.
She actually put on a quiz the night before that game. It was her first away trip back, so she put on a big, fun quiz. PG, I'll have to say. I can't say anything on here what happened in the quiz, but
Tiny little insight.
Maybe. me and Anna, Lucy and Anna Patton, they put on a good little fun team bonding thing. So I think that probably got everyone a bit more in the spirit.
Did you feel like you needed that?
Yeah, definitely. You know me, I was still like, oh, do we have to do this?
It's one of those moments where no one wants to do team bonding,
but then you do
it
it and you love
you're
it.
Like, you prop it into it.
Exactly. My team won, so that was great.
But yeah, get that in there.
Winners. My, like, having her back was so great, and obviously like being standing captain now and having her as part of the leadership group as well was helpful for me, and it's just a massive presence and such a good footballer. So I think that definitely was a boost for everyone to have Lucy stand back.
Definitely. Right, Rach, I think it's time for us to take a short break. But when we come back, we're going to be talking all things international, and we're definitely going to be talking about a certain someone and their retirement and all the glorious things you now get to experience. And I have to sit and watch and receive pictures of and videos. But yeah, we'll be back soon.
See you in a bit. Welcome back to The Rest is Football, Daily Brightness. I know, Millie, you said we'll talk about me, but that is old news. Let's talk about current affairs and your recent games against Belgium, because I know you love playing teams back to back. Let's talk about another one. The first one, obviously, Belgium at home, at Bristol. Massive 5-0 win.
That was such a good game. And honestly, it's so far away as well, but the fans were incredible. Like, the turnout was so good. But a really enjoyable game. I think, you know, some might say a little bit of a tricky period for us. We've probably had good performances, and then maybe next time we have a little dip, and then we perform again, and then we have a dip. But it felt like we'd picked up where we left off against Spain. And it just felt like it clicked, and, you know, we found our rhythm and our momentum, and, you know, 5 goals, impressive. I think finding that clinical edge is important, as you know, as a striker. But yeah, it was a really fun game to play in, and I think we made some huge steps forward, which obviously moving towards the summer is really important, but ultimately getting the win is the most important thing. But yeah, it was a really, really good night.
Yeah, and then I think flip it. I think I know like how it feels to go back to back, especially at international level and things like that. But obviously the team wasn't changed drastically for the second game. But as an outsider looking in, the fans are probably going, well, what was so wrong? Like, you won 5-0, now you're losing. Like, what happened? Like, you've gone from a 5-0 win to a 3-2 loss.
Yeah.
There's different factors that can contribute to that. It's not just about, oh, you've won 5-0, so you're guaranteed to win 5-0 the next game.
Yeah, and that would be so naive to have that mentality, which we definitely didn't have that mentality. We knew that they would potentially have players coming back into their starting 11, which were massive assets for them, and pose such a threat. And we knew we'd have to work twice as hard in the second game than the first game. You know, no team's going to lose 5-0 and then just roll over and be like, yeah, do it again, why not? You know, that just doesn't exist in football. Everyone has a bounce back. And yeah, I think we just started a little bit too slow. We also had to adapt to injuries, which is always difficult. It allows an opportunity for other players to come into the starting 11. But yeah, it still is change. You know yourself, it is hard to sometimes adapt to that. Not saying that was the reason we lost, but I think just change in itself is sometimes hard to find that rhythm again, and you know, new players coming into different positions. And ultimately I think they had a really good game, and you know, if you look at the first 3 goals, it was 3 moments for them and 3 goals. They were extremely clinical. We could have defended a lot better, but we still had enough opportunities to come back. And I think especially second half, being able to pull 2 goals back was really good. And to be honest, we want to go into the summer extremely challenged, and we want to maybe be exposed a little bit so that we can see where we need to improve. And yeah, as you know, the women's game is growing faster and faster each international camp, and yeah, teams are getting better and better, and it's harder. You know, teams don't just roll over. Like you have to earn every
100%.
goal, every clean sheet, every performance. Like you have to earn every part of football.
There obviously were some really big positives that came out of that game. Obviously, it's hard to look at anything positive when you lose. Of course it is.
Yeah.
You're going to just look back at the loss and the result, whatever. But 19-year-old Michelle Agyemang, like, that was a story. 40 seconds on the pitch, scores an absolute worldie out of nowhere. Like that, honestly, I feel for her a bit, because like, she celebrated, but like her first thought was to get the ball out of the net. And I love that from her. But I think just like, you want your first goal to like, imagine she's done that to win 4-3 at least. But what a feeling for her that must have been. I mean, she was on under 19 camp like 2 days before,
just
whatever.
qualified.
Yeah, just qualified for the Euros, and then just gets called up to the seniors, comes on and scores an absolute banger. Like, love that. Those are the stories I live for.
She's so good as well. Like, so good. Obviously, I'm quite strong, and I came up against her in training, and she is very, very powerful and strong. Like, you know, there's those strikers that can get across you and get anything on it, and I'm like, oh my god, it's in the back of the net. Like, she's very, very good. But yeah, I think her attitude to have qualified, come into the first team, it was like instant. Like, she came in one session and then it's the game, and probably never expected to even come on, and got a goal back, which makes the scoreline look a tiny bit better, rather than it being 3-1. But yeah, she is some player.
But I think it's so important for like Serena and the team. It is a different environment. If you're not used to that kind of environment, like the high demands of being like at the actual top, and for her to come in and show herself like that was amazing. And also, as unfortunate as it is that we've had that many injuries, I'm still there. Hey,
actually,
I'm going to leave my phone on loud and for the next 2 months.
I know someone that plays in strike, and she might be available to come back.
No, but obviously, like, losing Lauren James and Chloe Kelly and Alessia Russo in the game before, or the training camp before, 3 massive, massive losses. Don't know the extent of their injuries, but 3 huge losses for you as people, as players. Alongside, you've already had Alex Greenwood been out for a while, Georgia Stanway been out for a while, Lauren Hemp been out for a while. So it's a perfect opportunity to see the likes of Michelle and the younger talent coming through. It gave Aggie a start, and you know, it's nice to see that they can thrive in that environment as well. And going into a tournament, that's what you need. You need that. You know,
everyone's got to be ready. That's the thing in tournaments. Anything can happen. Injuries can pop up at any given time. That's the downside of sport. You know, it could happen on camp, off camp. Nobody knows. But like you said, everyone has now been given that opportunity, and I think they've showcased their talent as well, which is amazing. And I think, it's getting closer and closer to the tournament, and everyone wants to get their foot in and make sure they're picked and on that plane. But yeah, I think we've got some incredible talent, and like you said, circumstances, she probably might have wanted to celebrate that goal a little bit more, but
one she'll never forget.
One she'll never forget, like coming on in that state of the game and being able to do that was unbelievable, like crazy. It is time to talk about you, Rachel.
Oh.
Let's talk about you and retirement. How have you dealt with that from international football? I've hated it. I'm going to start us off. I've hated it. I've had to adapt to this. I feel like I've lost someone. That's how I genuinely felt. Like my whole camp and schedule like completely changed. Honestly, it took me a long time to adapt to that. So thanks.
Well,
Cheers.
I think it was also hard.
We could have gone out together.
Because you were injured for a significant part of the build-up of me retiring. So I spent like a good few months, I don't know how many months, a lot of camps without you. And I was thinking, maybe you tipped me over the edge. Maybe you not being there was like, get out.
My fault again.
Yeah, blame it on you.
Second bullet point.
Obviously, I think it's always hard when we're not together on camps, isn't it? We always found it difficult. It's probably because everyone was like, are you two all right? Are you okay? Millie's not here.
That did annoy us a little bit, didn't it?
Yes.
We can
did
say
you
it
see
now,
how I said that with such a sour taste in my mouth?
That was an annoying thing though. Whenever we had like 5 minutes away, like, oh, have you fallen out?
I know.
No.
Oh, you
Matt just needed to go to the toilet and I didn't really want to take Rach with me.
It's the minute when like I'm on a count without you and it's like, are you all right?
Are you depressed?
Are you okay? Is everything okay? I'm like,
yes.
Like I love her. She's my best friend, but I don't need her by my side every second of the day. It's fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Millie, where are you? Just FaceTime me every night. But seriously, how was the transition? We spoke on numerous occasions about, what you wanted to do, how you were feeling, and I felt helpless in that moment because I could never give you the answer. Like you had to make that decision yourself, and like I said, I would always stand by any decision that you made. But how was the transition? Because I don't think people really speak about that too much, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was weird because it was like once I'd retired, there was a few like interviews, whatever, all just asking sort of the same questions. But then it just kind of went away and it was never spoke about again, which is absolutely fine. But I think when we have these moments now and actually like reflect on it, it is difficult.
Yeah.
I proper transitioned my whole life after that, and how hard the decision was for me to make. I didn't make that lightly. I'd been thinking about it for a long time,
for months and months and months, like so long.
Yeah, and I think you were probably the only one that really knew to the extent of how much I was feeling it, and I had to make that decision on my own. Like you said, then like I could get advice, I could get pushed in one direction, in the other one, but ultimately that was down to me and how I was feeling, and I didn't want to go out regretting a decision that I'd made because I listened to somebody else, or it had to be literally from me and from the heart. So really difficult decision, but one that I think I'm proud of my career that I had with England.
Yeah.
But equally, it's very hard. Like watching you in games and stuff, it's just like I used to be there. Like even on the podcast, I said we as if I'm in the England team. Do you know what I mean? So
I don't think that will ever change though. I think when we all come to retire, I think we'll always have that connection and that attachment.
Yeah.
Like you are always a lioness, like that your legacy will always remain and that will never disappear.
Oh,
like
that's
ever.
Really cute.
I know, I'm a bit cute.
Oh, you just touched my heart.
Don't make me cry on camera. So downtime, what have you been doing? Because I know what you've been doing.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably the beauty of retirement, because it's weird, isn't it? Because not many people retire from one and not the other.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to give up football. That was the thing.
No.
Like I was. It's almost like I've parted ways with one part of it, but I've still got the other part, and it gave me an opportunity to focus on club football. But equally, I think for me, I've lived away for so long. So obviously, I spent 10 years in America, moved back to Villa, and I just kind of thought, I just want to settle now. Like I can focus on club football. I'm sick of traveling around. Like I'm tired. And so now it's given me those opportunities to be back with my family. You know how hard it is, 10 days of nearly every month you're going away with England. And as amazing as that was, and it's the most I've ever been proud in my life playing for England, but being able to be with my family and spend time with them, watch my nephew grow up has been amazing. I've absolutely loved every minute of seeing him grow up, which I wouldn't have been able to do as much as I do now. But I've been loving life, Millie. I've been on holidays.
Yeah,
I've just got
Rachel.
back from
I'm
Mallorca.
I'm very aware.
Got a little tan.
As you can see.
It's a bit different though. I'm sending you pictures of me drinking an Aperol Spritz on the beach.
Yeah, and you're like, you've got all this to come, Mill. I'll be right there with you.
Yeah, we'll do it
I'm
together.
excited
We'll
for
do
that,
it together
actually.
one day.
Yeah.
But no, it's obviously it's tough. Like there are days where I'll sit and think about it, and it'll like get me sad sometimes. But then I do look like my overriding feeling is pride. Like I'm proud of the achievements that I've had, and
I will say you've got your glow back. That's one thing I said to you.
That's probably the sun from Palmer.
not what I was getting after, Rachel. What I was meaning is I think when you've been through so much and you've probably not allowed yourself to go through all the things that you've faced over the last few years, plus trying to be an international footballer and all the pressure at club, like you've had so much change in your life. I don't think you've allowed yourself to really like embrace like those moments. And I think me knowing you as a person, you're like poker face. I've got to do this. I've got to be there for the team. I've got to be there for Mill. I've got to be there for my family. I've got to represent. And when you retired, when you finally came to the, I knew it was right for you, because after that, you just got like this little
like new lease of life,
little glimmer back, and I was like, oh, she's back. And the hardest thing is seeing someone that you care about go through a really tough time and not being able to like influence or like give you the answers or like change the things that have happened is the hardest thing. But yeah, I will say you have got your little, well, now you've got your big glimmer back and your tan and
that's nice. Yeah, I think that's probably,
but it's nice to see.
I did feel like, I don't know how long after the retirement, maybe it was probably the first international break after that, where it was a bit of like a like a breather. It's like,
weight off your shoulders.
First of all, what am I doing with my time? Like,
where's my schedule? What do I do?
Yeah, like I've got all these days to do what am I doing? Like I need to do something, I need to fill my time, but just a bit like, okay, I can sort of reflect now on my own career and like see the journey that I've been on, because like you said, it's not been the easiest, and look back to when my dad died, I was in camp 2 days later. So it was a time where I could like reflect on that and go through that and think about all those moments. So no, definitely massively proud of my career with England, and especially having you alongside me the whole way.
I know. Crazy
But now
moments.
I'll just be your biggest fan and probably stand with your mum screaming, "Wow, Millie!"
That's if she lasts in the stadium, because normally she's pacing up and down the street
she'll be
outside.
hiding behind
she's
me.
so nervous, bless her. Or she's probably shouting at the referee if they don't get a decision. Hooligan family I've got. So another little insight, if anybody knows Rachel well enough, like I know her, they'll know that she's a die-hard Leeds United fan. Give us an update with retirement. Have you been checking in even more so now?
Yeah, I've been able to go to a lot more games, which is nice. Can take my brother in the hospitality and treat him, so it's
I'll
nice.
bet he's buzzing with that.
Yeah,
He loves
free
it.
beer.
Yeah, go on, Andy.
But it's a madness at the minute, absolute madness. There was a part of me where I was like, going to bottle it again, and everyone's like, Leeds are falling apart. I was like, no, they're not this year, no. And then Sheffield United lost yesterday against bottom of the league, bad loss for them. So 5 points at the top now with Burnley. So Easter Monday is going to be a big day. Sheffield United and Burnley play each other after Leeds play.
Are you stressed?
Yeah, being a Leeds fan has given me grey hair.
Are you going to have your shirt on?
Of course.
Of course. I've still got my Leeds shirt, you know.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'll always have it. Well, you have to keep us updated with Leeds United.
Oh,
We're
well,
all rooting for
I
him.
will. You know I will.
Leeds.
But unfortunately, that is all we've got time for today's episode of The Rest is Football, Daily Brightness. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Thursday with a Q&A episode.
And if you want to get your questions in, please send them to dailybrightness@goalhanger.com, or on social media, use the hashtag dailybrightness.
Have a great week, everyone. Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.